Welcome to week 4 of our math map journey. Day 1, we discussed the cover art with a cute little frog on lily pads. The point here is to introduce the idea of motion on the real number line. So far, we have discussed points on the number line, but things move. Planets move and cars move, and so does math when we do calculations. So to illustrate this, we hopped like frogs. We hopped forward and croaked add or plus, plus, plus. And then we hopped backward and croaked subtract or minus, minus, minus. We had so much fun hopping like frogs when calculating. So from now on, when we think of the number line with addition and subtraction, let's think of a frog hopping forward or backward. So on day 1, we just briefly discussed the cover art. We discussed how adding and subtracting is like a frog hopping either forward or backward on the number line. Then I read the highlights that I had highlighted in the essay. I really appreciated the gospel connection at the bottom of the essay this week. For another tip that I have this week, I noticed that my 4-year-old was tracing quite chaotically. She would just proceed down no matter what, instead of going horizontal when needing. So the tracing didn't make sense as much as I would have liked it to. So I got a piece of construction paper and I covered up and we went slower like this. So she did finish the section horizontally along with the vertically. So that helped. So I wanted to share that with you. That was very helpful this week. Adding and subtracting. When we traced our jumps on the real number line, or when we solved subtraction and addition problems and drew out our number line to understand the operation that we were doing, we would start singing our jump on the real number line song. And at the end of our math hour, we would watch that video and sing along with it. It helped make math fun. So you can find that video here. But of course, we also have a new song for the new grammar this week for adding and subtracting. Since it's short, I'll sing it here and make a short. So here is our song for new grammar found on page 1. The adding and subtracting song to the tune of If You're Happy and You Know It. The addend plus the addend is the sum. The addend plus the addend is the sum. In summation, and I have that card here somewhere. In summation, use addition. The addend plus the addend is the sum. Now for subtraction, the minuend minus subtrahend. The minuend minus subtrahend is the difference. In subtraction, use minus. The minuend minus subtrahend. So that was our song this week, and it was a lot of fun. Okay, so I have a question for you. I have found that 4 pages a day is often too much for one sitting, and I have found that 4 days does not work with our schedule this semester. We have community day, and we have an extracurricular day, which is new to us this semester. We are not at home to study using the math map for 4 days a week. I've tried to implement it on these community days, but it was not fruitful study. We were either very distracted or very exhausted. And since I wanted us to enjoy our community day or extracurricular activities day, I stopped forcing the math map on those days, which reduced us to 3 days a week. So my question to you is this: are you able to do all 4 pages for all 4 days in a week? If not, do you complete the booklet before moving into the next one, or do you like to stay on the weekly schedule and just move on even if we haven't completed the book? Please help me know what you do when you find that you have not completed the week's math map booklet by the end of the homeschool week. Do you finish or do you move on? I would love to know, so please leave a comment in the comments section. What do you do to tailor the math map to your homeschool schedule? I appreciate it. Thank you very much. I want my kids to enjoy math, not dread it. I want math to be fun, not dry. So I find that starting and ending with a new grammar song for the math map brings a smile to our face and gets us to dance or move. Granted, my kids are 8 and 4, so it is easier to get us to sing and dance together. So sing the new grammar songs often and you'll find it reinforces the lessons in a fun way. Also this week, we read Circumference and All the King's Tens. It's a fun story about a surprise birthday party, but the number of guests is creating a royal mess. It's a very fun illustration for addition. And to close us out, our gospel connection this week is found in Ephesians 4, Colossians 3, and Hebrews 12, based on what the essay said at the bottom of the page regarding our spiritual journey. I love how the essay described the Christian spiritual walk with the Lord in terms of addition and subtraction. All have the concept of putting off, taking away, ridding ourselves of sinful behaviors and putting on, adding, increasing, joining ourselves to Christ and His Spirit. I asked the kids, what are some sinful behaviors or attitudes we have that we can pray and ask God to subtract out of our hearts and minds? And what are some behaviors and attitudes we can ask God to add into our hearts and minds? Ephesians 4, 21 through 22 says, when you heard about Christ and were taught in Him, in accordance with the truth that is in Jesus, you were taught with regard to your former way of life to put off your old self, which is being corrupted by its deceitful desires, to be made new in the attitude of your minds, and to put on, the new self, created to be like God in true righteousness and holiness. Colossians 3, 8 through 10 says, but now you must also subtract yourselves of all such things as these: anger, rage, malice, slander, and filthy language from your lips. Do not lie to each other, since you have taken off your old self with its practices and have put on the new self, which is being renewed in the knowledge in the image of its creator. And that wraps us up for week 4. I hope you find this video useful and helpful to make learning math with the math map fun. Please let us know if this video was helpful by subscribing and sharing. Thank you for watching and have fun learning.